Martin Scorsese recently told GQ magazine that the film industry is over. This isn't the first time the acclaimed director had some harsh words for the state of modern film. Let's take a closer look at what he had to say about the film industry in 2023. A quote from Scorsese, "Well, the industry is over. In other words, the industry that I was a part of. We're talking almost, 50 years ago? It's like saying to somebody in 1970 who made silent films, what do you think's happened?" End quote. Scorsese continues, stating that major studios preferring easier-to-market popcorn movies that have franchise potential no longer have interest in supporting, quote, individual voices that express their personal feelings or their personal thoughts and personal ideas on a big budget, end quote. This isn't the first time Scorsese has had words for the state of modern cinema, namely superhero films. 4 years ago, when asked the question by Empire magazine in regards to his thoughts about superhero movies, he claimed that he tried to watch a few, but that they weren't for him. He went on to state that they were more akin to theme parks than cinema. Now, since then, he has clarified, I think because at the time he got a lot of heat for what he said. Basically, he clarified by saying things like, they're a form of art and he respects the creatives who work on them, blah blah blah, but they're not for him. And I remember when he made these comments, and I remember at the time being kinda mad. I understood what he was saying, but at the time Marvel had done no wrong by me. I was always a big comic book reader, and the fact that the MCU had taken off the way it had just made me happy. However, as I've grown more cynical and as the quality of what I once loved has quickly began to wane, I'm starting to have a far greater appreciation for what Scorsese has to say, especially in his more recent quotes. It seems to have become more about the marketability of a film and less about the art of storytelling. Can we market this film? Does it have brand recognition? Will we be able to make a sequel? Don't kill the main character, we need a sequel. Funny enough, in the article with GQ, Scorsese harkens back to his work on The Departed in 2006. Warner Bros. Had asked if one of the two leads could live, DiCaprio or Matt Damon. Scorsese says, quote, what they wanted was a franchise. It wasn't about a moral issue of a person living or dying, end quote. Nothing against franchises, I spend a lot of time on this channel covering the franchises that I love, or better yet, used to love. But it can't be ignored that studios are very clearly more invested in the marketability of a film and not the narrative. Now, I won't argue that this point is rather fruitless. Obviously, studios are going to be more interested in whether or not a film can make money rather than the artistic value of said film. Doesn't change the fact that every other movie coming out nowadays is some form of a remake, a reimagining, or continuation of a previously beloved story. Another superhero movie, another Star Wars project, a Disney live-action remake, or maybe something nostalgic, something people will recognize. Barbie, people know Barbie, right? Let's make a movie. Mario, people like Mario, right? Let's make a Mario movie. Brand recognition. Nothing against these sort of films, they're not all bad, I mean mostly, but I rather like the Super Mario Bros. Movie. Either way, how can you blame them? I mean, you absolutely can blame them, but with ticket prices soaring and people leaning more towards staying in and watching something on a streaming service rather than showing up to the theater, these are the kinds of things studios have to do to get people to show up. My thoughts? Stop producing films with massive budgets that need to make 400 to 500 million or more just to break even. Aggressively lower these budgets so that it's not as big of a risk for the studios to produce. Then, shocker, make a good film. Any film without brand recognition will have to rely on its own merit to profit. Bring back the art that was once filmmaking and tone it down with all the flashy, overproduced, repetitive garbage we're getting nowadays. If you like this sort of content, consider subscribing and liking the video. If you love this sort of content, consider becoming a member. See you in the next one.